Hello and welcome to the She Makes Africa podcast, brought to you through the efforts of the AWEC Alumni Network. Women's entrepreneurship is the lifeblood of Africa's growth, and our continent is leading worldwide, with women making up 58% of Africa's self-employed population. Entrepreneurship can also be lonely and expensive without access to finance, but women are rising above these challenges through collaborations. We are here to share these stories from the AWEC Alumni Network over the next 15 minutes. We hope the women's journeys inspire you. And now, I would like to introduce the hosts. Over to you, Priska.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Priska, and I'm an AWEC alum from cohort 4. And my business is called The Maker Club, and we're in the EdTech space. Welcome to this episode of the She Makes Africa podcast, and I'm joined by my co-host, Frida.
Hi there. I am Frida Muyambo, a member of AWEC from cohort 2. I run a fashion business with a couple of partners called Zoe Kwan, and I love researching about African food.
Excellent. So today we have a special guest from the AWEC community. We have invited her to share specifically about how she has been leveraging her AWEC relationships to grow and strengthen her business through collaborations.
Sindi, please introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little about your business and what led you to become an entrepreneur.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the interview, or the podcast rather. My name is Sindi Dlamini, and I'm from a teeny weeny country in the southern Africa called Eswatini. It was formerly called Swaziland, and it just changed to Eswatini. So our neighboring countries are South Africa and Lesotho. Yeah, the name of my business is called Women of Crazy Wealth, and I established it in 2017 already. And so it's about 5 to 6 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And the reason behind that, or the goal or the sole objective, or the overarching objective of that business, is to raise she entrepreneurs across, the African continent. And so we do that through a variety of socio-economic empowerment events, as well as masterclass series, and something we call the Founders Circle, which is a gathering for all founders. Yeah, that's basically it. Why I got into entrepreneurship is, I think I was born into that particular line. I always share this particular story where the last job that I actually had, I was a project manager. And I remember the boss sitting me down and saying to me, because I just always had these ideas here, ideas that, vision here, vision there. And, she sat me down and said, Sindi, I think you don't quite fit into a strategic plan. I think that crushed me at the time. And I was miserable for quite some time. Yeah. But then I realized that, hang on, perhaps I was born to create strategic plans, not necessarily fit into them. So that's where the entrepreneurship journey kind of began.
Oh my goodness. That is just mind-blowing. Imagine being told you don't belong or you can't do something. And here you are pretty much saying, how do you like them apples? So thank you so much for sharing. That is so inspiring. I love what you've just said. Could you please share about your AWEC journey? And what are the top 2 things that you learned on the program that have significantly impacted your business?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I forgot to mention that, I am cohort 3 of AWEC. And, AWEC came in at the time, I think it was during the COVID season. And so that was just such a brilliant moment because whilst the world was going pear-shaped, for lack of a better word, we were given this opportunity to just focus. And so it was actually through my AWEC journey that I began to, further break down what Women of Crazy Wealth actually is. Because when I jumped into AWEC, I was a bit everywhere. Everything was at this great vision, and I couldn't really break it down into small, pieces and understandable pieces. But as we went through the sessions, the assignments, the group sessions, I was able to then refine what Women of Crazy Wealth is, who I am, and where this is actually going. So, and the top 2 things that I actually learned from AWEC is the social media element. I did not have that when I jumped into the AWEC community. Well, I knew about, the social media and all of that, but I just never really thought of how it has to do with how do I grow my business in that area, because I was a firm believer of word of mouth, and that's how I used to run things. But when I got into AWEC, I understood the importance of digital space, the importance of having a presence in the digital space. And I also understood or appreciated the essence of community. Because if you want to go at something alone, you're not going to get very far. But if you move together as a unit, you actually, you tend to cover a bit more ground. So my top two things was, the digital education there, and the importance of community and the power of it.
I love that you mentioned the digital space. I think it's something that, a lot of us grow to love or hate or not consider as important. But it is essentially and absolutely important.
I found that really impactful in my business as well. And it's a perfect segue into our next question, where we want to just delve into the issue of collaborations. So AWEC is a growing community, and we are well on our way to being a community of 1,000 women from across Africa, spanning different industries, different countries being represented in that. So with this growing network of women from across the continent, we have a unique opportunity for collaborations. Can you share an example of successful collaborations with other AWEC alums? What made it successful, and what were some tangible results on your business services?
Oh, yeah, sure. Somewhere during the AWEC program, I was, approached by Juliet. She has a women's group called Windpreneurs, and she asked me to just take a session and just teach on resilient mindset to her woman group. And so I accepted the invitation. We had our conversations there, and the feedback I got there was just telling me how they wrote back to her, and some of the women were just at a point of just collapsing, giving up, and just doing all sorts of strange things. But post that particular interview or session, they felt revived, they felt energized, and they felt they could do it again. And so what that brought for me was exposure, because again, like I said in the beginning, I'm from this tiny country which no one even knows, or half the time no one knows where Eswatini is, and here I am speaking on a Ugandan platform, so that was super great for me, and that was a successful collab. And the second one for me is just after the AWEC completion of the program. I dropped in the group a message that, look, part of what I do is mentorship programs. Actually, I was piloting a mentorship program then. And so I asked ladies, I said, would you be interested in mentoring young girls who are studying business and would love to venture into business, but have got no clue how, and all of that. And I had a great response from the AWEC community. And we started off, we did a 12-week mentorship program, and which ran pretty much successfully. I mean, the feedback I got back there is these young ladies were actually so encouraged. First and foremost, they're speaking to people across the African continent. So they're already beyond their borders, unbeknownst to themselves. And what that landed my business was an actual, a short-term contract with one of the universities in my country, because I took the students from that university and we said, wanted to pilot something. And they said, sure, we'll let you do it. And the feedback that came back from there is they wanted to work with me further on how I can assist and grow their business incubation program that they have at the university. So based on that 12-week pilot program I landed a contract at the university by just consulting with their business hub.
Oh my goodness. Sindi, you're on fire. So what you have just said to me is you didn't even wait for the program to finish. You started collaborating, and you had not only one, but two collaborations. And you actually piloted something that took your business to the next level of working with the university. That is Absolutely. Incredible.
Well, yeah, was it not for my AWEC sisters? And by the way, they came on voluntarily, just saying, look, we will support you. We love the vision. We love what you're saying. We are available. Let's do this. And there we are. We now have a contract with the university going on. And actually, I forgot my third collaboration, which is with Dr. Bennett. Dr. Ben and I, we wrote a book.
Oh my gosh. But you know what I'm hearing from you. Yeah, no. But what I'm hearing from you is, because the next question I was going to ask you is how did you find and connect to people? But I think you actually made it happening. But by you stepped forward and you said, guys, I'm here. This is what I'm doing. And they came back and supported you. This is just completely awe-inspiring. I love this.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And, when you were collaborating with your AWEC sisters on that pilot, like, were there any structures or systems or processes that you needed to put in place to ensure the success of both of you?
Yeah, what we did was we discussed the proposal over a WhatsApp group, and then we had a Zoom meeting, and I was basically open. I said, look, this is something completely new, and I'm just open to having any suggestions. How do you think we would run this? So we literally sat down, we came up with a curriculum. What are we teaching? How are we teaching? And when are we teaching it? And we did that all together as a group. And then I gathered the ladies and I said, right, let's, to each, they had to fill out a particular form, so you can figure out what their interests were. And so we could better match them with a mentor of theirs. And so we did that. And this is all, we did it together as the AWEC. It's not like Sindi was running on her own and then, she did all this. We did the curriculum together. We sat down and discussed how we're going to implement, because we are in Eswatini, we've got Nigeria, we've got Uganda, we had Ghana, we had Kenya, And so we had to set up Zoom call meetings. I think they were doing the mentorship program through either WhatsApp or Zoom, whichever was easier for them. And then we had timelines. First 3 weeks, what's the feedback? How are we doing? And what do we need to improve on? Are you finding your mentors? Are they chasing after you? Are they not? What's the feedback? And so we really took it step by step together. And to date, I still consider them my mentors for my mentorship program, which has now grown.
Now, this sounds so great, but we all know, we're entrepreneurs, that it's never as easy as it sounds. So did you face any challenges while collaborating with your AWEC sister? And if so, how did you work together to overcome them?
All right, to be honest, with the collaborations that I've had, it's really been a smooth transition, in all honesty. The only thing you would actually point out there is a time difference. So, you'd have to be up and someone sleeping or whichever the case may be. But it has been a smooth process for me, whereby we were able to communicate what we're looking for in each other, what the expectations are. And that was easily communicated at the beginning. So there were no issues of, people dropping out from the program or anything. If anything, it was the young girls who eventually, some dropped out, some kept on. But the AWEC sisters, they were consistent for the whole 12 weeks without a problem.
I love to hear it. I truly love to hear that. Go AWEC.
Go AWEC. I'm so proud of this group. I'm really proud to be a part of this particular community.
Something, we're so glad to have you, and I would love to chat to you after this. Trust me, I would really love to chat to you after this. I'm so inspired. Now, how has being a part of the AWEC alumni community impacted your business strategy?
That was quite tricky. Not really tricky, but it's quite interesting. Again, like I said, when I stepped into the AWEC community, I thought I had an understanding of what it is to run a business and strategy and planning all these things. But looking at the assignments and the peer group meetings and my peer group people, the ones who were in the same group with, I realized I actually had no knowledge at all. So I actually sat down, and after the whole AWEC session was done, the program was finished, I kept all my assignments and I did them all over again. So I started redoing and refining and growing. And so that's how it's actually impacted my strategy, because I was able to clearly define what it is that I'm doing and how I'm getting there and how to put a proper strategy together, and inclusive of pitch decks. So that's how I believe I have grown, because I went back and I reread and I redid everything that was taught, and I just began to implement in small steps.
Sindi, you are amazing. I can't even add to this. Now we have run through this. We are now on to the final question. I can't believe we've actually gone through all of them. But before you leave, what advice would you give to AWEC sisters looking to collaborate with their peers in the AWEC community?
The best advice I would actually give is to put it out there in the WhatsApp platform that is available. You've got the Facebook, you've got the WhatsApp. Make yourself known. Present the opportunity for us to see, and then you'd be quite surprised at how many people, and how many women actually come through just because you just said, look, here's what I'm doing, and I'd like to know if anyone is interested in participating in this. And that's just basically it. So I would say put your best foot forward, really, And don't be afraid to step up and say, look, I need help, because that's the one thing I did. I said, look, this is what I want to do, but I realize I can't do it alone. So is anybody out there willing to help me? And there you go. We got a positive response. So I would say, don't be shy. Don't sit and, let's look at the messages coming in. If there's an idea, if there's a concept you have, please put it out there for us to see. You never know. We could be willing. In fact, I know I'd be willing. But, communicate that. Don't be shy. Don't sit in the background. And just because the program is over, you've got 1,000 women at your disposal with multiple skills in different nations, speaking different languages, a complete massive network for your own personal growth and your professional growth. So I would say, step away from the shadows and step up and just say, look, here I am, here's what I do, who's interested in collaborating? And then you just break it down as to how the collaboration would work.
What I did forget to mention was two of my AWEC sisters who I'm also working with or have collaborated with. That's Uloma she's from Nigeria. She owns a business called Cart Roller. So that's an online shopping platform. And so my books are on her platform as well. An up and coming project is with Kele, who's from Botswana, and we'll be converting my second book into film. So that's another project up and coming from the AWEC Sisterhood. And, we have everything that we need in this community. I discovered that. So you should just try to get to know what we're all doing as best as we can, because all we need is in the AWEC community.
Wonderful. So thank you so much for joining us in the She Makes Africa podcast today. We were recording with Sindi Dlamini, whose key takeaway for us was step out of the shadows and step up. Sindi, as we close, please give us some fire. Tell us again what your business is about, because we will not get tired of hearing it.
I said it's Women of Crazy Wealth, and I'm all about, igniting, empowering, and inspiring women across the African continent, because I really believe that Africa is gold. We are all, we're all beautiful, and I believe in women so much, because we are the power of moving forward. I always say, if you empower a woman, you're empowering a household. You empower a woman, you're empowering a community. If you empower a woman, you empower the nation at large. And so that's what we basically seek to do. And we do that through, like I said before, socio-economic events. Well, what's coming now, an I Am Woman conference, which is on the 14th. It's our annual gathering after the miniature sessions we have during the year. We then gather once a year and we have this big hurrah and celebration of women. So that's the one thing we do. The other thing is we also do masterclass trainings. We just discuss particular topics of interest that women would like to know about in terms of running their business, starting a business, growing a business. And then we also have our mentorship program, which have partnered with the university, a local university here, where we're taking third-year students who are now ready to go out and venture into the entrepreneurial space or want to pursue a particular career. We take them under our wing for a 12-week program, and we just kind of break down what entrepreneurship looks like and how to shine in the marketplace, how to shine in the, in the workspace, and also things like that. We kind of make it a practical session for them, and we're holding their hand into their next, unlike when we were growing up with university, then you go to work and you figure it out. But we're kind of saying we're the bridge between your university and your actual workplace. You kind of want to make sure you transition smoothly. So that's basically what WCW is all about.
Well, thank you so much, Sindi. I can most certainly tell you that I am both inspired and ignited.
So, community, we have heard it. Collaborations have enabled women to expand their business, gain traction, and make a greater impact. Now, it's your turn to present your opportunity to this community of 1,000 women and grow.
What is your key takeaway from this podcast? And let us know if you are inspired to take action and collaborate with an AWEC sister. As always, we would love to hear from you. So if you like this podcast, if you have a question, leave us a message in the comments section. Once again, thank you very much for joining the She Makes Africa podcast, brought to you through the efforts of the AWEC Alumni Network. Until next time, let's collaborate.